learn about carbon footprint. So this and there's another lesson. Those are the last two lessons we are going to learn under combustion unit, right? Okay, so now so far we have learned a lot of things about carbon, how it's being included in combustion and complete combustion, incomplete combustion, and how it's remaining as soot also. Right, now in this one we are going to learn about how we measure the amount of carbon released, right? So we are always telling, there's climate change happening, global warming happening. So the same way, there is a way that we are measuring how much carbon is released to the environment, right? So the amount of greenhouse gases released. So this doesn't include only carbon dioxide. Whatever the gases that is causing greenhouse effect, we call them greenhouse gases. So these gases, how much it's released is measured using the carbon footprint, right? It's like if you walk somewhere, your footprint will stay. So same way, when the carbon is released, the carbon footprint will stay. So this is the measurement or the amount of greenhouse gases released. So how this is caused? By human activities. What kind of human activities? So mainly carbon is emitted from transportations like cars, buses. Now imagine if 20 people are going to work in their own car, right? 20 vehicles are emitting greenhouse gases. If they all use one bus, public transport such as one bus or a train, the pollution caused by the 20 cars is reduced. So it's very important, if you can or whenever you can, to reduce the pollution when you're using means of transport, right? Always using a public transport means less emission of carbon. Then another one is the energy use. Now electricity is generated using fossil fuels, which are emitting greenhouse gases. So if you use less electricity will be in demand, so less electricity will be in production, and generating electricity will be less, and also carbon emissions will be also less. Okay. Then manufacturing plants such as factories, now they are also, to produce new things, they have to manufacture, right? Products. To create new products, they have to manufacture. So what are they emitting? Greenhouse gases. So if we can recycle and reuse things instead of making them brand new, this emission can be reduced. Are those clear?
Yes.
Right. So these greenhouse gases are all these three things mentioned here, these three human activities, they are producing greenhouse gases. Mainly, what is the greenhouse gas which is mainly produced? Carbon dioxide. So which is causing global warming. So this is the main thing about carbon footprint. Right. Now, another thing you must learn is how this carbon footprint is increasing. So transport of raw materials. So transportation of raw materials, people, anyway, it's happening, right?
Yes.
Then another one is delivery of products. So when there are more deliveries means more carbon is emitted. Energy used in factories. Now factories also using fossil fuel. So the energy, more energy used in factories means more carbon footprint is given out. Then office activities. In offices also same thing. Now in offices you see now, let's say there are about I don't know roughly to tell how many offices in the whole world, right? They are all having air conditioning, ACs. So imagine the amount of electricity, and then inside the buildings they are mostly using the lights. So then for the electricity, for ACs, then sometimes for heating, in colder countries they need heating. So for those, then in houses also they are using. So think of the amount of energy they are requiring for this, and the amount of gases emitted. Then marketing and traveling. So for people also to travel and to do shopping, marketing and all that, then for those also carbon footprint is increasing. Imagine there's a when you can go to a close by shop or market to buy some goods for your house, you can go there by walking, right? It's in walking distance. But you want to start the vehicle and then get into that and just go to that market, or you are trying to go to a supermarket that is a bit far. So which one do you prefer to use? So which way will you prefer? Going walking to the closest market, or spending fuel and your time and everything and getting to the vehicle and going to a supermarket somewhere a bit far away?
Going walking to the closest.
Why is that? Because you can decrease the carbon footprint by doing that. Right, now let's move on to the next one. So like I said, if you can recycle materials, you can reduce the emissions. Now if you want to reduce the carbon footprint, what can you do? You can change your traveling methods. So you can walk. Walking means zero carbon footprint. Cycling, there will be a very little. Then if you use a bus instead of using your own vehicle for travel purposes, you can decrease or reduce the carbon footprint. And car share. Now this is another one. Now in our countries we have Uber Pick Me, right? So imagine you want to travel from work to home, and there are 2-3 friends who are going in the same route, same direction, right? So if each and every one of them pick a vehicle, then there will be 3 vehicles. Let's say 3 friends, 3 vehicles will be going in the same route. Instead of doing that, if they all can get together and come share one vehicle, share one car, and come in the same route, drop one person, then go and drop the second one, go and drop the third one. So that is going to reduce the carbon footprint which is going to be emitted from 3 vehicles, right? So that is another way you can reduce it. So remember, walking, cycling, using a bus or public transportation, using a bus, train, and car share. So these are some of the travel changes you can do. Another thing is about energy saving. How can you save the energy? You can turn off the appliances which are not really necessary. Sometimes you may keep the lights on when you are still not in the room, in your bedroom. Or maybe you have turned on the fan and kept, but no one is there in the room. So those kind of things you can avoid. You can turn them off when they are not in use. And another one is use efficient devices. Use devices which will have a high efficiency, which means less energy will be wasted. Alright, so those are the things you can do about energy saving. Another thing is recycling. If you can recycle materials, there will be less production of brand new products. So if you can recycle, there will be less emissions of carbon. And another one is reusing the products. So recycling, reusing is something that you can do to reduce the carbon footprint. Another one is food choices. If you eat local food, and if you reduce the food miles. Now food miles is what? The miles you are going to get some food, right? So you may buy food from a closest place, or you can make in your own home. Another one is eat local food means, let's say like this. Now you want to make a dish which doesn't have the ingredients, you don't get the ingredients in your local community, or you don't have it in your own country, right? So then you have to purchase it from another country or another area. So what do you have to do now? If you're purchasing from another country means you will have to let's say food items like dried stuff, you can order online and they will deliver it to you. But then think about the shipping. It should come by a ship or it should come by a plane. So there will be transportation emissions of carbon. Another one is, even if you are if it's not available in your local community, you have to get it from some other area. So the traveling charges for you, traveling emissions. See, if you have to go in a vehicle, then there will be emissions of carbon. So without doing that, if you can use whatever is available in your local area, you can reduce the carbon footprint. So these things are falling under food choices. Similarly, there will be other things, but these are the main things that you need to remember. Right. Now with this lesson, they are discussing about a STEM job, which is called Sustainability Manager. Have you ever heard about this job before? So what is his responsibility? He is the one who is measuring the carbon footprint, right? He or she collects the company data, and then they are finding ways to reduce these emissions. So then they can suggest solutions. If they are a company who is let's say the company is using a lot of vehicles, then they can transition into electric vehicles. Now in companies, sometimes they have to travel, no? Let's say they have about 10 branches in your country, then they have to travel, no? So for traveling, either they can use electric vehicles. So that is one thing that they can suggest as a solution. Then another one is hybrid vehicles. So instead of going on vehicles which are fully depending on fuel, they can go for hybrid vehicles, so which will reduce the carbon footprint. And then also they can use public transport. So if they have to travel, or if they want to do some deliveries or some kind of transportation, they can use a public transportation instead of using single cars for each and every one. Another one is the energy efficiency. So in the office or company buildings, they can use less energy, less electricity, or maintain some standards to reduce this. Now in companies, if you need to get some sort of certifications, you need to show these things, right? Then there are some there are some standards, like you have to maintain under this much of carbon footprint if you need to get this certificate. So there are levels that they need to maintain in order to get them, right? So these things are belonging to the sustainability manager's role, right? These are the responsibilities and the duties that he or she must do for a company. So this role is not available in all the companies, but mostly in factories or manufacturing plants, because they are the ones who are using raw materials, they are the ones who are having productions, and they are the ones who will have emissions also. So these jobs are mainly coming to those places. Right, so let's come back to the textbook lesson now. So I have given you the note with the summary of this entire 2 pages, but let's go through this and try to answer the questions now. You can see here there's a chart given there with some measurements of carbon dioxide and the temperature. So it's giving us changes in global temperatures with changes in atmospheric carbon dioxide levels. So they are showing when the carbon dioxide levels are changing, how the temperature is affected by them, right? Now see, the atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations are in blue. You can see a dotted blue line here.
Yes.
Right, that is the atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations. Average global temperatures are in red color. You can see like it's moving like this, right? What can you see about these two? What can you tell about their connection or relationship to each other?
When the dot is increasing, the blue dot was
Opposite. Temperature doesn't have any kind of effect on the carbon dioxide emitted, but the carbon dioxide emitted has it has an effect on the temperature, global temperature, right? Now you have to see it like this: when the levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations are increasing, the the average global temperatures are also increasing. Can you see that?
Yes.
When there's a spike here with the carbon dioxide levels, there's a spike in the temperature as well. So that's what you have to say. Right, now let's see this one. Question 1. What is the carbon footprint of a business or organization? Yes? Right, any answer? It's given in the first paragraph here. Can you find it?
It is a measurement of the masses of greenhouse gases pushed into the atmosphere by people or organisms.
Yeah, you can say that. So I'll give an answer here. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to read this one. I'll just put it here. Can you read it? So the carbon footprint of a business is a measure of the amount of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere as a result of all its activities. That's what you have to write here, right? They're asking about a business or organization, so you have to say about that. You have to mention it definitely. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right. Next one. Right. Next one is they are referring to the graph A here, and they are telling you to describe the correlation or the relationship between the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and global temperatures. What can you tell? Right, so for the correlation, you can say that carbon dioxide levels and global temperature have both been increasing significantly during the last 100 years. Right? Last 100 means from 1900 to 2000. So that is where the spike is starting. There is an increase there. Can you see that?
Yes.
Right. Then for part B, okay, let me put it like this. Question 2, part A. Right. Next one, give the approximate year in which carbon dioxide levels start to rise steadily.
Not 1990s.
See nicely and give me the answer.
Is it in the 2000s?
No. Can you see there is a spike like somewhere from here. Somewhere from here. Can you see?
Yes.
If I show it in this here, can you see from here only it's starting to rise? Until there it's like in the average, right? But from here onwards it's starting to increase here. There you can see a steady rise. So you can say the steady rise you can see between 1860 to 1900, somewhere here, this area. Right, now for the next question 3. Suggest a reason for the start of the rise. Any answers?
Because of human activities.
Okay, what sort of activities? Can you
Burning
define?
fossil fuels.
For what purposes? Your answer is correct. For what industries?
Transport.
Yes. So now see, the steady rise is probably due to, we can't tell exactly, but it could be because of increased use of fossil fuels, like you said. So what kind of industries are using this? What type of places are using this? For industries, factories, manufacturing places, so different industries, and also for transportation. For these purposes, these might have increased at a steady pace. Is it clear?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so in the summary sheets I discussed, I mentioned about sustainability managers. Right. Now in this one, see, large businesses are only employing these sustainability managers, and they are the ones who are carrying out surveys or audits of their carbon footprints. So for example, some companies, the transport of goods is the main source of carbon emissions. So then they will collect the data and suggest the possible solutions. And they might suggest using more efficient engines, alternative fuels. So instead of using hydrocarbon fuel, they can go for hydrogen fuel, but it's a bit expensive. Or else you can use hybrid or electric vehicles. So also they will encourage the staff to use public transport or share rides in their cars. So these are some things they can do in a company. Now in this diagram, in this poster, they have mentioned how to reduce your carbon footprint. So what are the things that you can recycle? Use recycled materials. Turn off electrical appliances when not in use. Walk to school. Drink tap water, not bottled. Use public transport rather than the car, and eat local products, what we discussed earlier, right? Now for question 3. Suggest how changes in the following areas could reduce your carbon footprint. Traveling to school, recycling materials, using electrical appliances, and drinking water. Can you think and tell me? Now for traveling to school, if you can walk, by walking you can reduce the carbon footprint. If you use recycled materials, you can reduce the carbon footprint. Then if you use electrical appliances, if you turn off the electrical appliances when not in use, you can reduce the carbon footprint. If you use tap water instead of bottled water, you can reduce the carbon footprint, right? So you have to write it in that way and say whether it will reduce the carbon footprint or not. Okay, that's what you have to do for this one. Right, let's go to the next page. One answer I will just type and show you here. This is the format you have to write for each. Right, this is the one for A. This is the answer for A. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right, in this format you have to write for the other three as well. Now look at this diagram C. This is from the company Exploring Co Limited and their sustainability department. Go through it and see if you can understand this one. Right, so in diagram C it shows a part of a company's carbon audit. So here see the sustainability department of Explorer & Co Limited has given the audit. Now this is used to suggest the ways to reduce the carbon footprint. So the suggested changes may have advantages and disadvantages as well. So these sustainability managers, they should have good communication skills to convince the business managers to accept their plans. So they are using diagrams, charts, graphs, posters and presentation software to display their data and make their proposal clear. They have to clearly tell why they are telling to go for these kind of changes, right? Now in this one you see carbon footprint of this company. You can see the red color means the energy used in the factory. See what a lot of energy used and how much of carbon footprint is emitted there. Then transport of raw materials, delivery of products, marketing and sales and travel, then office admin activities. All units in equivalent tons of carbon dioxide. So this much of tons are released. And then recycling used materials, then it's reducing the carbon footprint by 12 tons. Can you see?
Yes.
So this is a good thing. These things are not that good. Right. So you can see here how a sustainability manager is trying to communicate clearly and tell his ideas. Let's go to question 4. Suggest a reason why the recycling used material box in diagram C has been given a different color. So for this answer you can say it's given a different color because it's reducing the carbon footprint. Can you see this answer? A little bit difficult to see, right? Okay, I have made it very small. I hope you can see that. You can just you can see it right now. So the recycling used materials box is a different color because this reduces the carbon footprint and other boxes are increase in the carbon footprint. So you don't need to write that, just keep in mind why there's a color difference. Suggest one advantage and one disadvantage of using hydrogen instead of diesel as a fuel for a company's truck.
Hydrogen does not produce gases.
That is an advantage. It doesn't emit any greenhouse gases. Okay, what else?
The disadvantage is too expensive.
It's expensive and it's difficult to store. You have to store it properly, right?
Hydrogen power stations produce gases.
They're asking about using hydrogen as a fuel for their company's trucks. So the answer you can write here, an advantage of using that is it's going to reduce a company's carbon footprint. A disadvantage is that engines need to be converted, right? And also hydrogen is less available. Another thing is expensive and difficult to store. You have to store it in a proper way. So any of those disadvantages you can write. Right, next part is table E shows data about a school's travel arrangements. So travel by walking, bicycle, bus and car. Number of students who are coming by these modes of traveling. Then the carbon cost. That means, how do you calculate this? this shows the kilograms of carbon dioxide per pupil per year, right? So for walking it's 0, bicycle it's 5, bus it's 65, and car it's 540. What is the total mass of carbon dioxide released in kilograms of carbon dioxide per year for school travel? Total mass of carbon dioxide released for school travel. Can you?
620 kilograms.
Right, so to calculate this one, they want total mass of carbon dioxide released for the that means kilograms of carbon dioxide per year for school travel. It includes all 4. This is the carbon cost per pupil. So if 160 children went, you have to multiply this by 160. So here it's 0. This one, so you have to multiply these two values, right? 40 by 5, 200. 350 by 65,
92,750.
and 90 by 540 is
48,600.
48,600. So when you add them all, you have to add them all. What is the answer then?
71,550.
Is this clear?
Yes.
What should be the unit? So the unit should be kilograms of carbon dioxide per year. This unit should come here. Okay? Right. Now, half of those who are driven to school in cars change to take the bus. What percentage of carbon dioxide released is saved? Now, if only 45 are going in the car and the other 45 is going in the bus now, right? Can you do the calculation and tell me the answers? Now, if half of the children who travel by car is now gone to travel in the bus. So for this number of students here, we are adding 45 and we are subtracting 45 from here. So here altogether 395 children are using. So we have to calculate the carbon cost now for 395 students, which is this amount, 25,675. Then for car, it's going to be 45 multiplied by 540. So here's the answer. Now when you add all them together, you get this 50,175, right? Now you have to calculate the percentage of carbon dioxide released is saved, right? Now first it was 100% entire thing when you take, before we did this calculation for the first part, we got 100%. Now for the second part, to find the percentage, we are going to divide this by the first answer we got, the total, as if these children didn't travel by bus. Then you got this one. So we are multiplying that to find the percentage, and this is going to give you 0.70. So now the energy consumption, the carbon cost is 70%. So from 100%, how much it has got reduced?
30%.
30%. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Right, so you can write the answer. Once you do the calculation, you can say by 30% it has reduced or it's saved. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right, then there's one more activity here. You can just go through it and see if you can try it. Right, so that's it about this lesson. See you in the next video with the last final lesson for this unit combustion.